Alright, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another tutorial. This one's not going to be in Tutorial Park because I'm actually building a park, I guess like a park layout for someone on Discord. Her name's Becky Richer. Very nice lady. She asked people in the Discord if anyone could help her out. She did a mini park, which was a circus, I believe. You guys should check that one out. It's actually really cool. And this hotel was actually in it. And she decided that she wanted to make her mini park bigger. But she wanted to expand it on a pier and then add a lot more things. But she said she wasn't that really good at terrain and forming terrain and stuff like that. So I said I'd give her a hand and help her out and, make a YouTube video on it to help everyone else out too. So, like I said, she wanted the idea of a pier. So I picked the Alpine. Oh, that's my dog shaking. I picked the Alpine thing. Here's the entrance hidden inside this mountain. And then I just figured there would be like a road and stuff like that. Again, this isn't completely finished. She's gonna do a lot more of the detail work and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, when I'm maybe a little bit more done with the terrain that I'm gonna show you how to do, I'm actually gonna load this up as is. So if you want to take this park and then build your own, by all means, go ahead and do that. It'll be under Dippin' Dods in my workshop. Um, but yeah, so over here, like, I said she had a little hotel over here. Really cool. She dedicated a whole bunch of rooms to people on Discord. There I am, number 13, Tall Guy Gaming. So, yeah, I thought it'd be cool if, like, the hotel was, like, off to the side. And then I had this cool idea of, like, maybe the people would walk, like, along the road and stuff like that to actually get there. Um, you got I guess, these police for crossing guards. Let's go back over here real quick. Again, you could do some of this like landscaping yourself, but I just added a couple cars. You could add everything. She's gonna add a whole bunch more. Um, like I said, you got the hotel, so she'll have to make like a crosswalk here. You don't really need one along this road. I mean, just figure they're walking along the side of the road, but you'll need a crossing line here and then one here. Figure this is like a bus stop. And to make the people go over the bus stop, I should probably move that so those poles aren't there. Yeah, let me move them now. Let's move these back a little bit, just so the poles aren't in the way of the people sitting. All right, that's cool. Just to get the people to come over here, I actually put a soda machine. My dog's deciding it's a great time to move constantly. But yeah, there's a soda machine over there, and the soda machine's actually free. So, this isn't a challenge park, so I'm just hoping people will walk that way. Obviously, there'll be a lot less people walking this way as soon as she builds a park and it's open, but, hoping to get a couple people here and there, that'd be cool. Then, down here, I just built her like a little, like, wooden walk path, and then it goes down to the beach. She wanted, like, a really big beach, so these are just placeholders to show how big the beach is. So, you could build a beach all the way down here and stuff like that. Some of this beach, like you see, starts going into the water. So you could actually see beach under the water and stuff like that. So technically, they're in the water. But, that's fine. Then over here, like I said, I started building her the pier. So this is a walk path that goes this way. And then are you done? He's just jumping up and down the couch. He's like, I'm filming. It's a good time to bother everybody. I didn't really name it, just fun. This is just a placeholder. You could change it, put your own sign up, whatever. But yeah, I just decided to start making her like a pier. The problem is when you build a path over stuff, you can't get rid of these curbs. So this curb will have to stay there. You could take this path, and you could you don't want that curb. Yeah, so what you could do is you could actually select grid from here. Why isn't it? I don't know why it's not selecting. Oh, but it doesn't matter. It's, all right, so yeah, you don't have to select the path. So you could actually, put this wherever you want. You could come over here. You could actually select the grid if you want on this. Um, Obviously, it's not in the grid. But yeah, you could make this path any way you want. It's not a big deal. I'll just leave that the way it is. But yeah, like so, if you download this, this wooden plank, the top, it's on its own group. So all you would do is like keep adding as you go, and you could add it this way, wherever you want to add it. And then the same thing with these posts. They're all on their own group, so you would just select these two like this, um, and then you would just move it along wherever you need it. Like obviously if there's wood here and stuff like that. Um, yeah, let's get rid of some of that stuff. Yeah, and then I don't know what fencing people would want. I just put this up here. Obviously, people might be like, "Oh, it's too piratey," and they'll change it to a wooden one. And then I just left a couple of my custom-made wooden poles over here. And if you think it looks too Western or whatever, you can take them out and change it. Put whatever you want in it. It's not a big deal. Basically, I was just trying to make more of the terrain for her than anything else. She's gonna do everything else. Um, yeah, then I just figured, it would be a cool backdrop. Let me see. Like you got the mountains back there, and then I just made that that custom mountain. Let's go. There we go. I just made this custom mountain back here that I'm just putting some trees on it. You don't have to go crazy with the detail back here because from where you are in the park, you're really not going to see it, so you don't have to go crazy. With these, I'll just show you for the trees what I do. Not all the time, just for like stuff that's not important. So these two bushes, this tree, these two bushes, this tree, this bush, and this tree, if you click on them, they're an actual group. And basically you just copy it, and you could turn it any way you want. And then what you'd have to do is make sure you're sinking them all down into the ground. Like sometimes the ground isn't smooth, so some of the bushes will like go in a little more than the others. You can come back and add bushes, as you want, and add other scenery. It's not a big deal. But then getting over here, actually, I'm going to show you this. So for whatever reason, I decided to make a hot rod taxi. So it's got a hood scoop on it, bigger tires with the rake to the front, and some stupid wooden wing. I don't know. I was just trying to make it, funny, whatever. But yeah, as soon as I show you the rest, we're gonna start doing some terrain work. But yeah, then over here, she wanted to have like I guess she said it would be like something you go on vacation, or over in Europe they call it holiday. I don't know why you guys call it holiday, it's vacation. But she wanted something with, I guess, campers, which she said they're called caravans. I don't know. Over here, she's from Europe apparently, so like there was a lot of words we were going back and forth, and I'm like, "You mean this?" And she's like, "No, I mean this." So, she made this. I think she said it was a caravan with this little guy here. Pretty cool porch with this little couch seat. That's really neat. She made all this, so this is really cool. She said she wanted a bunch of them, so I didn't put them. I only put one and made a little road. I don't know how they look over in Europe or how you want them, like if you would download it. So I just kind of made like a placeholder. You could change all this. You can make this all like, just, little roads here and there, and you could, download her camper or her caravan. You could just copy and paste this one and change it as you go. But then I just made like a little, stairs going down to the beach, and then, you got this little beachfront that this like camper area would have. And then obviously you would have like, these, things to restrict the people from coming in really quick. Like you'd have to go in and out. That's Tall Guy Gaming in his car. And it wouldn't be my park if, my wife didn't work here. So there's my wife. But yeah, then I, made the whole entire inside. So it's an actual, building. It's not just an empty thing. And then, back here we got good old Sneaky Pete. Yeah, so Sneaky Pete's hiding out in this one too. So again, you could download this and you can make anything you want. But right now we're going to get into how I do some of the terrain work. First, actually, let's make a little mountain. So let's go over here. Let's make something really quick. I'll show you how to make what I made before. So you could just take this. You can make this as big as you want. Let's not gonna make something crazy, you know. So let's just, you know, make this high. And what you want to do is you want to, like, you know, keep rotating on the outside and stuff like that, you know, to try to get like a form. You could actually do this too, where you like make lines going out. That also helps too. You don't want it to be like just a mushy, you know, like circle hill thing. I don't know. Some people making it just, it doesn't look very natural. So this is what I'm trying to teach you to, like, you know, make it look more natural. So right there we got a pretty good basic shape. It's nothing crazy. What you could do from here is you could actually go to the, is it the roughen tool? Let's take this down a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. And you could just go over this stuff. Let's take down this intensity a little. All right, that's fine. Yeah, you could just take the rough tool and you could just do this, and you could already see it's like adding, you know, another dimension to this. So it's not like a smooth, um, I guess, hill. I mean, if you need a smooth hill, you know, voila, you just made a smooth hill. But you know, if you wanted to make it more natural, I would suggest using the rough the thing tool. And what you could do is, if, let's say, for instance, I don't like this hole right here, you could just go back with the smooth tool, and you can kind of smooth that little area out. So any little like imperfections you don't really like, or you think it's too much, like maybe like this or like this hole, you know, you can just smooth it out a little bit, and yeah, that looks pretty good. So from here, what you're gonna want to do is, it depends what kind of map you pick. On the Alpine one, it comes with these rocks, the smaller rock, this grass. The sand I added from Tropical because obviously I was going to make beaches, so I had to add the sand. This grass comes on here, and I also added the city tarmac, which was from the city map, you know, so I can make the roads and stuff. So I would suggest, usually when you're making a map, even if you're dead set on like tropical, or you know, let's say the snow map or whatever, always make a custom one, and then just try to get one or two in there that, you know, probably aren't in there that you could use. So getting back to this, you know, what you want to do is, this rock is kind of like a rougher rock. Yeah, this is the rougher rock. So what you want to do is you want to take this rougher rock in like the little tiny areas that like bump out and stuff, and you want to put this, you know, you don't have to go crazy, just a little bit. You know, you just want to do this so it makes more definition in the actual mountain that, or the hill, or whatever it is you're making. So again, I didn't go crazy. Then this other rock is a smoother rock, so you could use this, you know, here and there. You don't want to do too much over what you just did, because here, if I do that, it takes away that texture. And sometimes you don't want to do that. You just want to add texture. It's basically like a layering system. You want to keep adding texture over itself. And you'll see what I mean when I, you know, keep doing this. Alright, just add a little more here. Maybe up here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Alright, so now we got that. So next we want to take the little rocks. And again, let's take the intensity down. Yeah, whatever. Again, it's the same thing I was saying before. It's a layering. So, you know, you got this little area here now. This has the two different textures here. I'm just going to make a, you know, a little half circle around that. Or just, you know, a little bit on top of this one, on top of this one. You know, up here where the grass is. You could do it below also. Again, you don't want to do it like over them too much. You're just adding a little bit on top, a little bit on bottom, a little bit around it. And what that's going to do is just add up, you know, again, more definition. You know, like right there, that's already, it's already looking like something. You know, you could just make these little circles around this area that you did. You know, you figure maybe down low there's going to be a lot more rocks. You could, you know, go crazy. There's no right or wrong, but the different ways you do it makes it look more realistic or less realistic, if that makes sense. So let's just add some more on the top. All right, so now we got the rock out of the way. So next, after the rock, you're gonna want to do some kind of like dead grass. So this map comes with it. So again, I'm just going to go over some of the parts that I added the actual rock to. Now, I'm no mountain expert, but, sometimes, like, greenish grass doesn't really grow on, like, some bumpy, terrain and stuff like that. Most of the time you'll get, like, weeds and, not, like, some nice manicured grass, like, on your front lawn. So, I would suggest taking some dead grass and putting it wherever you can. Just these little bumps and stuff. There you go. Let's add some more over here. And that should be cool. And maybe over here. You don't want to go crazy with the intensity too. Keep it at a low level, and then if you just want more, just, hold it over a little bit longer. It's not a big deal. Alright, now this is one of my favorite paint tools. It's the dead grass or the brown or whatever. This is also an alpine. I suggest taking this all the time, even, whatever map you're in. Because, like I said, if you want to make some, like, custom, flower beds and stuff, and you don't feel like using, the dirt that's in game, this as, like, a custom flower bed base, I guess, is perfect. Right here, I'm just doing, more layers again. I'm going around a little bit of the same areas I already did, a little bit under them, a little bit over them, trying to get rid of a lot of this, if I think it's like too much dead grass or too much rock, I'll try to put this dirt over it, and it becomes like this natural, like, dirt feeling of, like, you got the dirt and the rocks and the pebbles or whatever it is. There you go. It's looking pretty good. So what else we got? So again, you can go back and, you want to add some more here and there. Again, it's to get rid of, you don't want, like, streaks of whatever you just did. You want to mix everything together. Yeah, so any areas I thought was, like, too brownish, I just went over a little more with the dead grass. And then again, if you want, you can go back with the pebbles again. Or you can go back with, this texture rock if you want to add more that you might have went over on accident. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So from here, what you want to do is you want to start adding some, trees and stuff like that. I would actually suggest first, before the trees, you're going to want to go to, rocks. So these rocks right here kind of match. And you want to start with biggest to smallest. So whatever rocks you want to add, you add them. I always suggest making sure most of the rock, like, for instance, if you just put this rock here, it doesn't look natural. It doesn't really look like it should be there. But if you take that rock, and again, you could spin it, turn it any way you want. If you take that rock and most of it's, like, sunk in the ground, the bottom, the top, and the sides like that, and then add it, it looks so much more natural that way. And after you add, you could go back and add more textures again. Because obviously, like, these would look better, again, with, like, the dark brown and stuff around it. And even when you sink them in like this, you could use the same rock and just spin it. And since most of it is already inside the ground, it doesn't really look like you copy and pasted that rock, if that makes sense. Again, you don't have to go crazy. Let's change up the rock. You don't have to go crazy with, like, the same rock or different rocks. You could add these rocks. Yeah, these rocks look pretty good too. These rocks will go with, like, this, I guess, like, map and color. The terrain paints you picked. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, we can do, like, a little ledge right there. Again, I'm not going, crazy and stuff. If you want to see some of the terrain work I did, you could check out my mini park. That probably has, like, the most terrain, stuff I ever did. So that's good with the rocks. Let's go back and, add some more of the smaller rock and stuff underneath these rocks. Because obviously we didn't plan out where we're going to put these rocks. So the terrain paint we used isn't really lining up with some of these rocks. So let's get back to the dirt again. And this dirt is, like, awesome. I'll show you later. You should be using this around, like, buildings and stuff like that, or fences and stuff like that. There we go. That's a little bit better. Let's add some dead grass. Yeah, sorry. The dirt right there is really good. You could even add small. Let's add some small rocks. So I actually like doing this, adding like really tiny rocks and stuff like that. You know, you can put a couple together. And, you know, this just will help with, you know, the realism and stuff like that. You know, if you're just adding like big, huge rocks everywhere, sometimes it just doesn't look as good if you just, you know, would add these little tiny rocks. Um, you know, add some right here by this one. You know, it's a little tedious, but again, in the end, it pays off. Like when you actually look at it and, you know, you look at all the detail you added and it looks like real and stuff, you know, it really feels good. Let's add a couple small of this one. And you could add them by these two. I mean, you could even touch them. It's not a big deal. Like I said, there's no right and wrong on how to do this, but certain things you do will make, you know, it look a lot more real than what, you know, you don't do. All right, so now we got that out of the way. All right, let's go to, oops, let's go to trees. We could put a couple trees on here. Again, since it's alpine, I'm going to use these alpine trees. Now, most of the time, you know, you can put them up at the top, but if it's like some kind of mountain or something, usually at the base of the mountain you'll have the trees, and as it gets further to the top, there'll be less and less trees. So you got to take that into consideration. So, you know, let's put a couple down here. You know, don't you know, like this map, I could use, I think it's 4 different trees. So you don't want to keep using the same tree over and over again, and different heights too. You don't want to use the same height. So like here, I don't have to add it again, like, you know, right where this is. What I could do is sink this down halfway, and now I got a smaller tree. And, you know, I could take this smaller tree and put it literally right next to this one, and they look like 2 different trees. You know, you could use the same tree and just change the heights a lot. And then, you know, you got 2 different trees. But, you know, those are good for that. Let's go to this tree, the spruce tree. This is the skinnier of the spruce trees. Again, you don't want it like super big up top. I mean, you can, but I think it just looks better this way, where the trees are just, you know, kind of more on the bottom and middle. There we go. And then if your viewpoint is back here, you don't have to go crazy behind it, but then you might want to like actually do something where it, like, you know, maybe sticks over a little bit like this. So then you can, you know, you can kind of see, like, you know, the one we just added right back there. Here's the bigger alpine one. Wait, is it the blue fir? No, that's the smaller one. This is the bigger one. Yeah, so this is the bigger one we just added. So this is the smaller one. My bad. So this is the skinnier of the 2, and smaller, shorter. So again, we could just, you know, sink them into the ground. I mean, you can make baby tiny tree. You know, trees don't have to all be the same height. You know, they do start growing eventually. You know, so there are smaller trees. Let's add a bigger one here. And then there's one more tree, this tree, the Douglas fir. This one also fits, you know, into this map. This one is rather tall, so if you really do like, you know, the design of it, you got to sink it down a lot. These are, you know, kind of meant for more of like a background tree, I would suggest. I wouldn't go crazy with, you know, having this height up front somewhere. There we go. That looks pretty cool. All right, so what the next phase is going to be bushes. So the bushes I kind of stick to are these 2 forest bushes, and then you got these 3 green bushes. And I would suggest mixing them back and forth because they're 2 different color greens. What I like to do is, again, I don't really want to, like, put it where it's just like sitting on top, because that looks like a toupee for a mountain. So what I want to do is just jolt them out, wherever I can. And you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to use the whole thing. You could literally use the bush and just use that much. Um, Definitely sink them down. You don't have to go crazy. There's not many like huge overgrown bushes everywhere. Sometimes I see people, add bushes, and then the bushes are all like, regular height, which sometimes is just, too big. I mean, if you have to, just get one of the animatronics out, and then just, size it up and see like, hey, is this right? Is this too big? Is this too small? That really helps. I know a lot of people use, I guess, the Archer and stuff. I just use usually the Cowboy is like the first one, so I usually just use that. Um, but yeah, you could just, like I said, you could sink these down, and then bring it back up, add another one. You don't have to go crazy with just one little tiny thing here and there, but then change up your bushes. So like here, so this bush right here, you could tell these two bushes are different greens and different textures. So like right there, you could add it right next to it. You could add this right next to this one. Like I said, there's no wrong or right way. Just go crazy. Just do remember, wherever we do add bushes though, we're gonna have to do some of the terrain paint with the brown again. Because grass really doesn't grow under bushes. I don't know if you have like a garden outside, but go take a look at your garden, for inspiration. If you have a bush, there's rarely any grass underneath. Sometimes there's weeds, but that's not grass. And we'll make weeds, so don't worry about that. But even that, look how interesting that was, and that was like maybe a tenth of the actual bush I just used. Um, I like to place them right around the rocks and stuff like that. It just, I don't know, for whatever reason, it just looks a lot more real. Let's get to a bigger bush. It's the same bush, but it's it's a lot bigger. It's a different, I guess, I don't know what to say. The way I guess it's flowing, it looks a little bit different. So just nothing crazy. It's fine. So again, any place we put a bush that didn't have any brown, or same thing with the tree. Any tree we place down, or any bush, or any rock that didn't have like this brown around it, you can go ahead and start adding that brown. It just looks more natural that way. Like even here, like there's nothing under here. Just this little tiny spots you make. It'll make like, this tree and stuff look like it was actually really growing there. There you go. Because also too, I'm guessing, like the stuff wouldn't grow where it's like dry. So obviously the ground would be somewhat, I wouldn't say wet, but it would be saturated enough, I guess. So you know what? I don't know what I'm saying. Just do the brown. Just do the brown around everything, you just added. There you go. Alright. Now what you want to do is you want to add a couple little weeds here and there. You could do this, the griefy leaf bush. Green leafy bush, wow. And what you could do is, again, right in front of rocks, sink them down and just stick them out a little bit. And then, boom, you got like, some little weeds sticking out all over the place. You could change the heights. You could have it, come down here where it's just literally like a little bit of weeds. I just, like I said, I just like to stick them around rocks in areas that already are brown. You could put them in, the bushes. So I do this too, where I stick them on like the outside of the bush I just put up. There you go. And it's also a different color green, so it helps make the overall look more interesting. Okay, we'll add some like weeds here. Again, go crazy. There's no right or wrong. There we go. Just add a couple. Yeah, now it looks like, we got three different color bushes, or two different color bushes, and weeds are a different color. So now, I mean, just look at the overall color. That looks a lot more interesting than we had before. You also could do this. I like to take this, I think it's begonia. Oh no, it's the viola flowers. You could take that, or you could take this begonia flower. Either or, it's not a big deal. So you see how it's like green and orange. Make the orange a dark green. You can even make it darker. There you go. And then just same thing. Just stick it, right by like rocks and stuff. There you go. Got more weeds. Different kinds of weeds. And like this stuff here, like I'll do this forever. Like, just to make things look a lot more realistic. Like I said, it takes some time, but the payoff is like really cool. I just, figure some mossy weeds are growing underneath this rock or something. Yeah, look at that. I only used a tiny bit of that, but that looks cool. And again, you could put this everywhere. And the only thing is, again, you kind of want to keep them in the brown areas that we already did, because otherwise, if it's not, I don't really suggest like putting them out like this, because then it just kind of looks like green, plants, which are fine because I use, green plants, in my parks as well. But we're making, I guess, like a different type of like overgrown weed thing, if that makes sense. But again, like changing all that and then adding this color, that's also another green. These two greens are, two more color greens to make the whole thing interesting. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm kind of just babbling on right now. But yeah, I think that's about it. We got a little tutorial thing. I don't know what to call it. I guess terrain tutorial. Obviously for different, maps and stuff like that, we wouldn't have all this alpine stuff. But I figure like alpine is a one that kind of people use a lot and often. You could just change, like depending on what map you have, you could just change out these trees to a different tree. And as long as these rocks match your terrain paint, you could still use these rocks and these bushes and all these ideas and stuff like that. You could just change all the trees to, whatever, like, what's another map people use? Like, you could use these trees, like these ash trees and stuff like that. And, you could do the same thing that I did with these trees. There's two different color ash trees and, two different more sizes. And you could probably add these in as well, the birch trees. So, like, if you had the other map, you could use all these, like, brighter, greener trees. But yeah, I don't know how long I've been rambling on for. So, yeah, this is a little tutorial of this. And like I said, if you want to download this park, I'm just going to call it Fun Pier. I'm going to do a little bit more work. So I'm going to actually finish out this mountain here. And I'm going to do a little bit more around. Nothing crazy. Again, this is going to be like an open map, and you could do what you want. So I'm going to leave this empty. Maybe you want to put stores or something in, or parking or something like that. So that's going to stay empty. And again, all the stuff on the pier, you could just, copy and paste as you go and, make the pier as long or as big as you want all the way out here. This is just a little, I guess, guide map, and then you just do the rest. If you want, when you're done with the parks, if you actually do them, find me on Discord at Tall Guy Gaming. I'm under Maddie's Discord and the other Planet Coaster Discord, and send me your finished product. I'd love to see what you guys actually think and do. So yeah, that's about it. So leave a like and subscribe, a comment down below, and I guess I'll just see you in the next one. Bye.